Welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko, and I'm here with my buddy Evan.
Hey, Earthlings.
So, before we get into today's episode, here's a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they're curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
Sounds about right.
It does. And do we, expand our knowledge each time?
Of course.
You think so?
I think my brain has increased in size since we started the podcast.
We're getting the big brains now.
Yeah.
Becoming an alien. And hope our audience, too, gets a big brain out of it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yep. So, so today's episode, as I kind of hinted to you before recording, it's going to be a topic that could potentially be controversial.
Right, disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Some people might have some strong opinions and beliefs regarding this. Some people might be on one side, others on another, but that's what we're going to look.
So maybe we're going to have a fight on air today.
No, I don't think so. I think
we tend to agree most of the time.
Yeah, we tend to have similar, beliefs. It's going to have controversial things that we're going to discuss, but it's all going to relate to sort of a singular question underneath it all. So
let's do it.
Well, let's get into it. We'll see. All right. So let's start with a little sort of teaser, as always.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, a G theater.
So what we have here, I have some pieces of arts, very famous pieces of arts. We have paintings and albums that are very well known in the world of arts. We have Adam's Ceiling. Yeah, that was, I forgot the name for a second there, from Michelangelo. We have the album Thriller from Michael Jackson, Mona Lisa from Da Vinci. Your favorite album from
I was going to say that's not the most famous album.
No, I know. I put that there just to kind of, do a little nod, for you. I forgot again the name. Can you say it for the people? It was...
Scenes from Memory.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to read it on the screen, but I couldn't see it. And then we have Starry Night from Van Gogh, and then the Nevermind album from Nirvana. So these are some, pretty famous pieces of art, music. I could have put other stuff too from photography or, other artists, but I chose these ones because people know them. And, when you look at these pieces of arts, right, you also think about the artist, right? Whoever came up with it, and there's like an association with it, and you have feelings towards it. Some people see these pieces of art and might love it, others might hate it.
Correct.
So, this sort of the controversial parts start to begin. And do you find that when we view, certain pieces of art, that our opinions of the artist also influence how we consume the art?
For sure. I mean, if you're a fan of the artist, you're probably going to be a fan of, the result and the byproduct. True,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, here's my opinion. Let's say it's good that you put Dream Theater on the screen because, I could relate to that.
Exactly.
I like the album you put on the screen a lot, but some albums I like less. So I might like the I might like the artist, but it could vary. Like sometimes I might like what they put out, sometimes I might like it less. And sometimes there's one piece of art that almost puts a standard for everything else,
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So you're not maybe one of those types of people who, when they love the artist, you see those, they love everything the artist does, any music, anything they put out, they're like, oh, I love it. Even though, it could be argued that it's not as great as some of their other.
Yeah, I'm not like that. That's the thing for me. When I know the artist could put out something that's at a really high standard, I feel like for me it's the later piece of art that they release, it always has to live up to that,
Okay.
From Dream Theater, there's one album I really like Images and Words, and every time they release an album, it's always oh, it's not as good as that,
Okay, so you set yourself, with a certain expectation from them. Okay. All right, that's interesting. And the way you view the artist, as in the person they are, does that also affect
Yeah,
the art?
for sure. I mean, like I'm talking like more in like a music context, because like that's pretty much most of the art I follow. Sometimes like there's some artists that could be a bit controversial themselves. Like they could do some interesting crazy stuff, and they could be on drugs or whatever. And sometimes that kind of taints like a bad image. So getting on something here.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, basically today's topic
I like this.
is going to be about art versus artist.
Huh.
So
this is a good topic. This is one of your best.
This is one of my best. Oh, thanks, man. So yeah, you kind of did the segue there where, when the artist starts doing something that is questionable, then we start to question the art. And do we like it as much as before? Are we going to like any future pieces of art that they're going to do? It's debatable. So that is what we're going to debate. So before diving in, just to, put some key points out there. So we know that most people on Earth, I think anyone you ask, enjoys some type of art, right? People like music, paintings, photography, I don't know what other art. Yeah, like movies.
Film.
Yeah, film could be. I mean, film isn't like a singular artist though. It's like a crew of people.
Literature.
Yeah, true. Literature, you could say too. Yeah, you're right. Poetry, etc.
Yeah.
We often associate, right, the artist to the art, right? You don't look at the Mona Lisa and say, oh yeah, it looks alright. No, you're like, wow, that's Da Vinci's painting, and Da Vinci's like super famous, and that kind of skews whether you like it or not, your perception of the art. And often the artists themselves, they become like people we worship and adore, right?
Right.
So whatever they do, it's always under the spotlight. But the main question remains, can we separate art from artist?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good question, and we're definitely going to try to answer that.
So we're gonna try to answer that. But the way I'm gonna proceed is I'm gonna put 3 examples of artists that I've chosen that obviously have done some controversial stuff, and we're gonna see. Okay, can we separate the art from the artist for this one? Do we continue enjoying their art or not? We'll see.
This is really good.
Good.
I like it.
So let's dive right into it. All right. So first one. One of the famous artists all time, Michael Jackson. So the
beat it.
Hell yeah. All right, maybe not, but
out of place.
No, it's all right. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so he's the so-called king of pop, right? He has produced some of the best-selling albums. He has revolutionized the sound of pop. He's basically as famous as Jesus, really. I don't want to offend any religious people, but you can go to some remote island and say, "Have you heard of Michael Jackson?" And be like, "Yep."
Yeah, everyone knows Michael Jackson.
I got his Thriller album. So yeah, what have been his troubles and allegations that he's had in the past? So kind of do like a brief timeline. In the early 90s, he was alleged that he had sexually assaulted a 12-year-old boy at his Neverland ranch. So he had like a ranch, and he used to bring like little kids to like play with them, do different things, and like he would say that he would take care of them, and that his intention was sort of like to protect these kids and help them grow and sort of be away from the prying eyes of like the industry that would use these kids and whatnot. So anyways, I'm not gonna get into his motives. I can't really say. So that first allegation, he settled it for $20 million. Like the parents sued him, and he said, "You know what? I'm not gonna try to argue with this. I'm just gonna pay you guys and settle it." So some people might think, "Oh, he settled it because he did something wrong."
He had money.
Yeah. But other people are saying, well, because they wanted his money. He's one of the famous people on earth.
Yeah.
And then early 2000s, he had more allegations. This time he went to court in 2005. He was not found guilty because of lack of evidence and also possible ulterior motives, because obviously he's famous, and they were like, yeah, maybe you guys are suing him because you want to extort money or
take down a famous person for no reason.
Exactly. Ruin his reputation. But then
Happens to so many famous people.
it does, right? So it's not improbable. I'm not saying that he did or did not do these things. I'm just saying that a lot of people do sue people for
It was
their
like
money.
the early days of like cancel culture.
Yeah, true. You're right. Yeah, it was. So, yeah. And then at 2009, he passed away. But then in 2019, there was that new documentary that came out called Leaving Neverland. And then you had ex-victims who were now like adults, and they were detailing, the sexual assaults that they had. But again, this was also highly criticized, this documentary, because again, they said they didn't really show concrete proofs. It was just, people saying, I heard this guy or I heard that guy, and just a lot of
like ear to mouth.
Yeah, people recounting things that aren't validated. Anyway, so yeah, in his case, I don't know how much you've heard personally or
of what his music.
No, like about this.
I've heard about these.
Okay,
not extensively.
Yeah,
like I vaguely remember the story of like the 12-year-old boy and this and that, and I wasn't too familiar with the second allegations he had in the 2000s, but yeah, I'm sure they're.
there was
correct,
constantly, different allegations. Yeah. So what are your takes on this?
Well, we got to be careful to differentiate what might be like someone trying to take down a famous person, and maybe they might be, who knows, even jealous in a sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. If these are actual crimes that he committed, then he's no different than anyone else, right? If he did commit these crimes, well, he should have been punished for them. And the fact that he had a lot of money, he probably had an easy way out, right? But yeah, like I don't think just because he was famous, he should have been treated differently. So if he did commit them, he should have been punished for them, and
of course
not have the easy ticket out with his money.
Okay, but do you think that we shouldn't listen to his music anymore?
No, I think we should still listen to his music.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And why is that?
Well, here's the thing. Some people obviously can make mistakes in their lives. If I'm not saying these are crimes that you could easily say, "Oh, it was a mistake," and that's it.
Yeah, true. Because there
are levels, levels to things like that. But I still think what he wrote as music is like a piece of like almost history, and it marked the music world for years. And even till this day, his music still influential, and people still enjoy listening to his music. So I think you shouldn't. That's just my opinion. I don't really attach myself. I don't really attach the artist that much to the art that he created, like unless he did something really terrible and it was justified that he did commit those crimes, But
then you would question it.
Yeah, then maybe I would question it a bit.
And not listen.
I would maybe still listen to the music, but I'd still have like a weird, like a sour taste in my mouth almost,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You wouldn't listen it, in a different way.
Yeah. Like almost
it would
like
taint your perception of it.
Exactly.
True.
Whereas now, like, okay, they are allegations, right? Like you call them. So we don't know for a fact if these things actually happened.
Actually, yeah.
He was accused of them, but
the only weird stuff is that like they did search like his rooms and mansions, and they did find some like objects or whatever, like sexual, objects.
Right.
I don't know what they were exactly, but it was a bit, suspicious. And but anyways, there wasn't any concrete evidence. And there was also like an interview with the actor Macaulay Culkin. I forgot how you pronounce his name. The kid from Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
His name, he's got a bit of a difficult
I can't remember
name.
his name, but yeah.
Macaulay Culkin, something like that. I forgot. I hope, I'm botching his name for sure. But yeah, he went to like on the Larry King like show and did an interview, and Larry King said, did anything weird happen when you were at the ranch with Michael Jackson? He was, no. He's like, because people were saying he would bring kids in his bedroom And that actor, he said like, yeah, but his bedroom is 2 stories. He was saying like nothing happens and that we just had fun and he, treated us right. So
Okay, so that guy actually went to his mansion.
yeah, he did. Yeah, like he was invited by Jackson to his mansion, and
Because he was in the spotlight, right? Is that it?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I think he did have some troubles when he was a kid. I don't know if he had like problems with drug even.
Yeah, I think he did.
He did like go through like
bit.
drug issues and yeah, because being a child actor can be tough, and I guess Michael Jackson was trying to protect these kids somehow, and obviously it does seem weird, like a 40-year-old man who brings little kids to his house. Yeah, it does seem
odd,
sketch, and especially nowadays, I don't know how the hell you would justify doing such a thing, no matter who you are. Like, it'll be really tough, Maybe he was a good person at heart and he just, loved kids and he didn't find that weird.
Yeah, I mean...
Some people say he was abused also as a child because, he started in the Jackson 5s. And his father apparently was very hard on, them and performing and recording the music. And I guess maybe he didn't receive that love when he was a kid and he wanted to do that for, other kids.
So he essentially had like a daycare.
I guess so, yeah, in a funny way, like an orphanage type of, or like a charity, or
like if you put it that way, does it really sound that creepy? Like, it doesn't, right? Like, I get what you mean. Maybe because we're painting that image, no pun intended, that like it's a man that's inviting kids to their house.
And he's like alone, I guess. Yeah. It's not like an organization, like a school.
Right, but like if you think of what a daycare is,
it's adults.
It's adults that have kids at their house, right? I mean, your mom had a daycare here, right?
Yeah, but she's a woman now. She won't do anything.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So again, we're coming back to that.
But stigma. Obviously, you see, there's like all these stereotypes and prejudices thrown, and we can't deny the fact that he's Michael Jackson, like freaking gajillionaire, back in the day. Gajillionaire. Okay, I'm kidding, but he was super wealthy.
Yeah.
So you don't think some people would try to, abuse that? They would.
So yeah, in this case, I would still listen to his music.
Yeah, me too. In my opinion, I would still continue because lack of evidence and just kind of wishy-washy with the allegations, and but anyways,
and his music changed so much.
Yeah, exactly. At least for the sake of like history and the impact that it had, we can at least consider it and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But anyways, this stays on the person to decide. We're not here to say like, you have to listen to his music. We're right. We're just
we're just discussing and giving our opinions on, if you should still listen to him.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So let's go to
what's going on with his arm in that picture? Looks like he has like a cast or something.
I'm not sure if it is a cast or it's part of his costume.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, he did have intricate, costumes. All right. So next one, also a controversial one. Chris Brown.
Oh yeah,
right.
Interesting.
This guy. All right. So for those of you who don't know who he is, I mean, I think most people know, one of the biggest R&B artists of the mid 2000s. He is sometimes considered the king of R&B because he had, he was so influential with that style of music. He still continues to make music till today. He also, funny enough, cites MJ as his main influence. And we can also tell, from like his dance moves and some of his music, that he does have some
similar
Michael Jackson
influence
in it. But yeah, so let's go to his troubles. So on February 8th, 2009, he had an argument in his car with Rihanna. And he says this argument was started because of another woman, that it was, I don't know, something regarding another woman, and that Rihanna apparently had started like kicking and hitting him somehow, like being sort of aggressive and physical. And then, he had enough or couldn't handle it, and he just basically
clocked her.
I mean, really beat her up. I mean, Rihanna says from her side that she was beaten. It wasn't just an altercation. It was like really, you're trying to beat someone. And then, a few months later, Chris was actually found guilty. and it was like said to like have to serve community time and hours, and he was on probation, all these types of restrictions. He didn't go to jail, but he had like these restrictions. In 2012 though, funny enough, they did get back together, but then a year later they broke up, and that was it from the stories. So in this case, yeah, I didn't put a picture of Rihanna's face, but I think most people do remember that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember, but like, yeah, I've obviously know the story. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very known story.
This was very known, exactly. So yeah, in this case, what are your takes?
Well, here's my 2 cents on this. So first of all, I don't like Chris Brown's music.
Oh, okay. So you're already
so
starting
my
out
opinion
with
is
a
going to be
bias.
very skewed in this case. But okay, so let me just put that bias aside, right? And
Okay.
let's pretend that I did like his music. Yeah, in this case, it's a bit hard. I gotta kind of agree that like it's hard to listen to someone's music that he did something pretty like atrocious like that. I mean, I don't know. Just because like that's all you hear now, it taints a bad image.
It like, yeah, forever kind of always reminds you that this guy beat this woman, physically assaulted her. But again, so yeah, my opinion on this, yeah, of course for me too, this is, a bad thing that he did, and also does taint his music. Did I like some of his songs? Yeah, I did. When I was a younger kid, I did like some of his music. Not everything. Like, he wasn't like, favorite artist of mine, but I was like, yeah, I like some of his songs. But after this, I was like, but I can kind of see how also sometimes, because people did move on. Like, if you notice, people sort of forgot this whole, him beating up Rihanna, and some people are okay. Like, they still continue to listen. He did win a Grammy
Yeah,
afterwards.
it's true. Some people still listen to him.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it comes up every so often. Like I hear it again and again,
Yeah, so some people, like us who still remind, like, hey, don't forget that this guy, did
is
that.
yeah.
But I can understand how, because this was an argument in his car when he was driving, that some people might say, yeah, but Rihanna shouldn't had, started an altercation with him, or yelled at him. I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly happened in the car. But honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know what sort of thing would justify. Like, yeah, I understand, like, if you're driving and, your girlfriend or something is, like, being a bit, handsy and, like, kind of aggressive, would you punch her? I mean, I guess you would just quickly try to stop the car.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, pull over and, try to calm the situation down. Take a breather, get out of the car.
Yeah, or just get out of the car. Yeah, just, if you want, just walk away, I think it'd be better. But yeah, obviously,
or tell her to take a taxi or something.
Yeah, if you really do not want her to,
like they tell you in driving school, if the passenger is like yelling and stuff, and then it says what should you do in this case? Pull over, tell them to take the bus.
Really? I've never heard of that. Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
get out of my car, take
driving
a taxi.
School.
The best tips. Yeah, so that's kind of what we would do. But again, hey, everyone's different and different people react in different ways. But yeah, me too. I find it kind of
a bit difficult
to accept. So have I stopped listening to his songs? Yeah, mostly I have. I mean, sometimes I, kind of pass over it, but I don't intentionally go to listen to his songs, really.
Yeah, like I'd say it's in your playlist or whatever,
or the radio,
and it just randomly comes on. You're like, okay, yeah. But I think it's just because you want like background noise,
Yeah.
It's not like, oh yeah, let me go listen to Chris Brown.
Yeah, let me enjoy and listen to this
Yeah.
song. Yeah, not so much.
No,
Yeah, so him is, kind of like that.
Dunzo.
So we're starting to see right now how the artist does definitely influence the art. So it's not really easy to separate
Exactly.
You know, so could let's say, you know, to add a question on top, let's say an artist, could they do like literally anything, like murder people, like a serial killer, but their art is like, yeah, I could still enjoy the art.
But you know, I was just thinking of something. Like, I feel like it depends the type of art.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like, yeah, maybe like when you're hearing the person's voice in a song, you kind of get turned off. But let's say you're looking at like
A painting?
Like, I don't know, you could just be like, wow, that's interesting. But you're not going to see the guy's face. You're not going to hear the guy's voice. You're just going to see the
Okay.
painting, you know?
But would you have the painting in your house?
You're asking some hard questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Because yeah, okay, I don't see the guy's face, but every time I look at this picture, it reminds me of him.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's sort of like you hear the song on a radio or you're in a museum. Oh, okay, you see the art. Okay, whatever, I'll pass over it. But you won't actively engage in consuming the art.
No.
That's what I was...
Yeah.
Like, I find, like, that's the thing. It's a very, like, gray kind of area where it depends sort of what the artist does, to what degree and how much, until we're like, nope. You know?
Yeah. I think the type of art for me too plays a role, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously you're not as much in painting, so you're like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
Yeah, look at this painting, right? Like, it'll be in the corner of my house, you know, like maybe we won't look at it that often or something, you know.
But you would still have it in your house?
Yeah. Maybe I didn't know what the person did.
Oh, maybe you didn't. No, but I mean, like, in the case where you did know, would you?
Yeah, it'd be a harder, like, you'd have to sell it
Like
to
if-
me. Like, you know.
Like, if a painter murdered someone, literally, would you still buy their art?
Probably not, but like that's the thing. Like, it have to be like the most perfect art, and it have to, you know,
Okay,
maybe
it'd have to,
complement
like-
my house in some way, or
It would have to surpass the artists themselves.
maybe you want to put it in a haunted house.
Oh my god. Okay, in that case, it's
In
just
that
a
case,
face.
it's justified.
Lol. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, interesting. But yeah, so anyways, to come back to the question, yeah, separating art from artists, it's a bit hard, and I'd say it depends on the degree of the crimes or things that they've done that is bad.
For sure. Yeah.
We can always understand that artists are also human, that they can do mistakes, and we can't be like, you know, nowadays it's the cancel culture, right? You do one small mistake, you're done. Everything you've done in your past,
Exactly.
completely denied for, which, yeah, I don't agree. All right, so let's look at the third example, and this one might not be a famous one or one that a lot of people might know, maybe not even really a lot besides me. This one is more personal, so this is from my own experience, from an artist that me personally, I've been like, oh, I've been betrayed.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
All right, let's see it.
So this artist here is called Milosh, his name, but he goes by the name Rhye. That's like,
Okay.
I guess, his band name project. He's a Canadian singer who started around 2013, so he is pretty recent. He was initially composed of him and another musician, but then it became like a solo project. So he goes by Rhye, but really it's just him that makes the music. His music can be described as like soul pop and R&B, like very sensual when he sings, very like, you know, almost like an angelic voice and like kind of down tempo style, which I really loved. Like, just to give my own experience, like I discovered him around like February, was it this year? Yeah. Or no, last year, I think. Man, I don't even remember.
Either way, a couple.
Let me
year or so.
backtrack. Yeah, I think it was this year. Yeah, this year. So I discovered them this year, and then, you know, I was enamored. Like, I cannot say that I found like a new artist where I was like, wow, man, their music is like amazing, their voice, the production, and I was like, they're like an indie person as well, you know, they're not like a famous artist either. So I was like head over heels, like listening to their music every day, all day. So that's why I was like really invested. And when I heard, you know, what had happened, then it was like a huge shock to me.
Oh wow. Okay.
So their troubles arose. Oh look, I even put the date. I'm so dumb. March 2021. Yeah.
March 2021. Okay, yeah. So it was this year.
So yeah, it was this year. It was around February that I found them, and then March 2021. That's when this stuff hit the fan.
What is that the expression?
Yeah, but they shit it.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it PG, man. So yeah,
No PG. Last episode made everything R-rated on the show.
R-rated from now on, I guess. Yeah.
We're changing the parental advisory on the show.
Explicit content.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the troubles. In March 2021, a girl named Alexa Nicholas, which was his ex-wife, she posted a long open letter on IG detailing like her abuse, okay? And I'm not someone who would go on IG and read stuff, but hers, when I saw in a news article, I was like, man, this is interesting because I like the guy. So I went, and her IG post basically had almost 50 like posts.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like you have to go like pages and pages and pages. It was basically a letter that she was writing and detailing her abuse. So basically, she says that she met this guy when she was 16 and he was 33 years old.
Okay.
Online through chatting. Okay, so already that's sus. Okay, they started, getting closer and messaging and blah blah blah, and the years went by, and then 2012 came. They got married. But then in 2016, they got divorced. So basically what she says is that she got groomed as a young girl to basically like support him financially with his project, to also she was forced to engage in some really uncomfortable sexual acts that, she did detail in the letter. I'm not going to start going in detail, but yeah, it was some disgusting stuff. And she was basically
don't have to get into the details, but
yeah, emotionally manipulated and like constantly gaslighted, where she was saying, I've helped you with money, I've helped you, advance your career, come to like LA to record your albums, and it was saying, oh, no, you haven't done anything, or I don't need your help, or I don't owe you anything, just manipulate emotionally. But yeah, anyways, so all of that afterwards, when I read, I was like, wow, I have a dilemma here.
Yeah.
And so much so that I had to actually talk to someone about this. Like, I was like feeling like, what the fuck?
Okay.
I've been really betrayed. I even like spoke to a colleague of mine at work.
Interesting.
An older man, that I trust. And I said, man, can you help me out? Like, what do I do here? And he was like, look, you've read what you've read. The facts that have been presented to you, it's up to you. You got to decide.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're trying to do here. It's to present the facts to you guys as well, and you each for yourself decide if you listen or not. And in this case, yeah, I said, you know what? Kind of like Chris Brown's situation.
Oh, so you decided to turn down the music. Okay.
Yeah, like completely like block him out. Like I took all the songs out of my favorites. Also, like on Spotify, made sure, because there's a feature where you can say like hide this artist.
Okay.
So his music won't come up, like at all. Like even if you're doing a playlist.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you really hate an artist, you can like block them out. And then I just forgot. But
moved on. Yeah.
For a month though, because his songs were so like, I was so emotionally attached to them that I was like, man, I want to kind of go back to listen, just to like enjoy them again. I was like, oh, I don't know. It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, because especially if you're saying that it's like a soulful, like.
So yeah, what also made it weird is that his music was basically that. It was like, oh, your body, like it's just like about the woman's body and how he's gonna make love to her, and just very sensual. And some of the things that his ex-wife, described, she was saying that his songs were sort of like, a bit weird in that sense.
Yeah. Almost like he was describing his relationship.
Or his stuff that he would do to women. Apparently she said that he had recorded her during like an argument where she was saying no, like he was saying like, let me do something to you like sexually, and she was saying no, and he had recorded that in secret, and then used that in his songs, but reversed it. So instead of no, 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 you would hear on.
Oh my God, that's creepy.
So isn't that creepy? Yeah. And without her permission, he had used that voice clip in one of his songs. I was like, wow, really? Okay, that's kind of effed up. So, all these little details and all the things that she had described, I was just like, wow, okay, I did not know any of this. So it completely changed it.
I mean, it's reasonable the way you're thinking. I think I'd probably do the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
Listening to about these allegations and stuff. Actually, did she like file a lawsuit or something against him? Or
she did, yeah. Like recently, past month, she did also file a lawsuit. But yeah. Some people might say, oh, but how do you believe what she's saying is right? Because a lot of women allege different things to different men, but her letter was very well, very honest. I felt that it was very honest, and also she did have screenshots of like messages between her and him, and the way he would act towards her was very like, oh, you're crazy, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or yeah. I mean, it was to my judgment, but I felt that
sometimes you kind of know when the person's saying the truth, right? I mean, if you're reading those and you just kind of feel like the person's pain almost. I mean,
you feel the pain, and with correlation with the text messages and emails that she showed, she showed a lot of, like proofs, if you will. Also how she was getting like blocked by his management or his publishing company and saying that she's just nuts and kind of discrediting her.
What she did for him. Okay.
Yeah, or her allegations. Yeah, they were discrediting.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just every little detail, even though, I mean, how can I prove it? I can't. Everything was just suspicious and very, like, pointing towards.
Yeah, it just doesn't paint a good image for you. It just
doesn't,
when you're listening to the music, even though...
Like, why would someone, do a 50-page open letter describing it in such detail if it was not real?
Yeah. There has to be some truth there, I think.
Yeah. Okay, maybe some things were exaggerated. I don't know, but, like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. And even if those claims aren't 100% true, you always have that, you're going to question yourself every time you listen. Like, oh, is that true? Was that not true?
Well, I mean, just the fact that he was 33 and she was 16. Isn't that already weird?
Yeah, that's already pretty weird.
People would be like, well, I guess we could, really? What?
Yeah, double in age, basically. More than double. 17 years.
Yes, yeah. That is insane.
Yeah, that's a big...
Basically, what he was saying in the messages was, hey, can you send me some pictures because I'm a photographer. I want to see, how you look. And I think she did also send naked pictures of hers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's already really suspicious.
Was just pointing out to,
Yeah. That's...
his abuse.
That's already suspicious from the beginning, right? So...
Exactly. So...
already, that should already
a red flag,
be a red flag, and put you at bay from that music, like put yourself away from that.
In her letter, when she was describing some of those things, every time when there was something sus, she would put red flag. Oh, and I was like, yeah, that's really
what it is. Yeah,
that's what it is. So in your opinion, I guess, from what I've told you, all these details, what do you think? Am I justified, you think?
For this particular case or just in general?
No, in this case, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's justified. I mean...
also, it just feels weird, in particular, with his music.
Exactly.
His music isn't like some rock music that has nothing to do. Like, it is so much with what he did. Like talking about women and their bodies and how he's gonna make love and how he's gonna, control and
it just reflects, like his songs kind of almost like reflect his real personality.
True, exactly.
And you don't want to support that personality by listening to the song, so it's justified.
Yeah, so even more, I would say, yeah, man. I deliberated for long on this,
For sure. I mean, well, you had a dilemma. Like, I like this guy's music, but I don't like what he stands for. So what do I do?
What do I do? Yeah, even to go to speak to someone and get their opinion, and
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's a situation that I was in and that, like,
yeah, I don't know if you've had a where you felt betrayed. This is how I felt. Like, wow.
I have to give it some thought. To be honest, like, most of the, like, since I'm more of like in the rock metal scene, like, there's so many incidents, like, with artists that they go off the rails, and, like,
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? I could actually think of something, but it's not really what the artist did. It's more what happened to the artist. Can I just flip it around just like for a second? So the band Pantera, it's a really famous like metal band from like the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
I've told you this story before. The guitar player in 2004, his name is Dimebag Darrell. He got murdered on stage.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
so someone
got shot.
Yeah, point blank killed him on stage, and that like leaves a mark on their music for me. It's like, man, like it's never gonna be the same because of what happened.
Okay, so yeah, you mean like the tragedy that struck
that's a
them.
tragedy. Yeah.
It just kind of always has a sad note to their music.
Yeah, sad note. Yeah.
No pun intended. Sorry.
You still got to point it out that you.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so it's
there's
a different.
Also, yeah, it's like kind of like a different spin, a different way to look at it, but it's definitely tainted.
Your perception
in a bad way.
Okay, so you mean like, when you listen to their music, it's like you feel sad, or it's like you don't want to listen, or you don't like it anymore?
Well, it's not
the same anymore.
Like, I've never been the biggest Pantera fan, to be honest, but like ever since I've known that, it's like, man, like I can't believe I'm listening to like something that ended so tragically.
Oh.
That's kind of how I think about it.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people actually think that way. I could be wrong, but I think.
So you just feel bad for it, like.
Yeah. I just feel bad, and it's because
like you're not able to enjoy it.
Yeah, but also like the band stopped making music and everything, and
no, I bet it's hard.
Yeah, and then the brother also died. So Dimebag Darrell's a guitar player.
Yeah, and
Vinnie Paul Darrell, I think that's his name, is the drummer. So they're both brothers. They're both in the band. The brother Dimebag got murdered, and Vinnie Paul died 3 years ago, I believe, from like just like I guess natural causes, or like he had cancer or something. I don't know what it was, but
okay.
So he died as well.
Huh. Okay, so
it's like the whole situation is just
it's just sad.
It's just sad.
I understand. Yeah. Like you're not able to, it's not that music is bad or you don't like the music anymore. It's just you're not able to listen it and have fun anymore. It's kind of like sad.
It's tainted almost with like blood, It's like shit.
Yeah. It's cast a shadow over it. Oh, I understand. Okay. Yeah, so it's a different kind of shadow. Whereas here it's like by their own doing, they've cast, a shadow on themselves. There it's like sort of the world has kind of
like how could someone do this to someone
like so
that was creating such good music too, like Pantera was such a huge influential band. If Pantera would have kept making music, they would have like exploded even more than what they did.
Okay,
like when they were in their prime, like they were making so many like they were selling so many albums, so many people go see them, and then it just ends.
It's a tragedy.
Tragically, like that.
How else can we describe it? It's I don't know. It's like let's say a parent loses their child. It's like can they ever really be as happy as something any sort of tragedy? Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and maybe to go back to like the original point. If there are some times where I think like some events like turn me off from a certain band. I think it was more like on their personal level, like maybe not like really bad crimes, but if they do like, you know, too many drugs or something, it's just like, man, like, you know, I don't know, it's weird to me to listen to their music for some reason.
Okay. Like if they're a heavy drug user?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. That's just me.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Nirvana is a pretty good example. Like, I did like Nirvana. I still like Nirvana. I think they're good. But the whole situation with Kurt Cobain and like, you know, I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like, yeah, like his really intense drug use and, you know, the whole situation behind it. Like, did he commit suicide or was he murdered? Like all of that kind of also taints an image on the music, you know, for me.
The whole mystery
And like what the hell happened, you know? So that's probably another band that I would say that probably kind of changed my perception a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So those are some different ways that an artist or band can be affected. Yeah. Some from what they do in like their personal lives and the circumstances surrounding, you know, their life and death. Yeah. Interesting that you brought that up. Okay, so would you say anyway, so to kind of, you know, come back here to our initial question again, so separating art from artist, so we can agree that it depends.
Yeah, it depends. But yeah, I think there still is a correlation to a certain degree, right?
Like it's like an artist and an art is not completely separate entities. No, we can't say that. I don't think so.
No.
You know? Yeah, me neither. So yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap things up and, you know, restate our points here, we kind of said this, that artists are humans as well, right? They do mistakes. We can, you know, forgive them for those mistakes, but again, it depends what sort of mistake, to what degree, and it depends on your own beliefs and values, right? If you say, no, I do not accept them for doing this, or someone else, no, I'm okay with that, then that depends from you.
Like, sorry to cut you off.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person if you still like listen to that person's music even though he committed crimes, you know? It's not you that committed the crimes, right? You're not like supporting it,
but that's
you know,
the
like
dilemma.
cheering it on or something. I don't think it's that. It's just like, it depends how you feel about it. But don't think that you're a bad person just because you listen to Chris Brown, for example, you know, like I don't think that's the situation.
But some people will always find, you know, well, if I'm listening on Spotify, my streaming money is going to him because I'm listening to his music, even though, it's not a lot. It's like cents of cents. And, or YouTube can be ad money, or...
Again, I think that's nitpicking a little bit. But
But hey, people, when they don't want to support, they really do not want to support it anyway. Not even look at their image. They might get money for that. But yeah, anyway, so what most artists create most time includes also their ideas, beliefs, and experiences. Like that Rhye guy, you know, his songs definitely included his experience and his perception of women, and it was just all weird. Everything about it was just
rye bread.
Rye bread, yeah. Maybe that's his favorite kind of bread.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious. But anyways, he can shove it up now. So that's why we can't separate, right, the art from the artist, because what the art has is what, you know, the artist expresses.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm an artist and I create something that has nothing to do with me.
Of course, you're gonna have some type of, you know, personal expression into your art. It's not just gonna be like a blank canvas that you insert ideas in there that are meaningless, right? No, you're gonna have, you know, personal feelings and emotions that go into the art you're creating, because that's what art is, right? It's your own, it's a manifestation of how you feel. That's exactly what it
That's
is.
exactly, yep, it is.
So
It's your own creative ideas. It's your own perception of the world. It's what you're trying to make out of the world. So it's very much tied in, yeah, to the artist. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's we who decide if we separate the art from the artist and if we choose to continue to consume their art.
yeah. You know which art I really like?
What?
Podcasting.
Yep. And our art, you can't really separate the artist, right?
Exactly. Like literal, like our thoughts are literally the art we create.
Exactly. Like you can't say, oh, my words are separate from me.
Right.
It is me.
This is like a 1-for-1 like translation, you know?
Yep. That very much so. So yeah, please don't separate us from our podcast. Anyways, yeah. An interesting topic,
That was a
right?
good topic.
Kind of also sort of philosophical, like, art versus artist. I've always had that in the back of my mind, since, the story with Rhye.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one who kind of, inspired me to do this topic. So
Yeah. That's a good topic for sure.
yeah, man. Anything yourself to add before we wrap it up?
Well, yeah, like we said, we can't really separate the artist from the art because it is a literal, representation of who you are. When you write art, when you create art, it's how you feel, what you're interpreting, and you're putting it like in almost like a physical manner, right? So it's hard to distinguish both. But, coming back to the main point, should you avoid the art of someone that isn't necessarily a great person or committed some bad crimes or whatever? That's obviously subjective, and you shouldn't feel bad about it necessarily. Just pick and choose what you want to support, I guess. That's my message.
Okay.
So like you said, if maybe don't go see like a concert or something,
Okay.
of the person.
But would you judge someone, let's say, if they did listen to the music of a really abhorrent person?
I don't think so, to be honest.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't
Let's
judge.
say if a person was a serial killer, like a real serial killer, and they had really great albums, and someone was like, yeah, I still want to listen to the music. I don't care what he did.
Well, I mean, you don't know the backstory, right? You don't know why the person's listening to that music. Maybe he started listening before, and maybe that music helped him through some hard shit, right?
Okay. Even if he murdered people.
Well, no, this is the thing. So let's say you listen to the band, I don't freaking know. Let's go back to the Rhye example.
Okay.
Let's say you're listening to Rhye,
Yeah.
and for some reason, his art made a positive impact in your life.
Yeah.
Like it got you through some hard times or whatever. Because that's what music does for me. It does help me through some tougher times, let's say. I'm sure it does for you too. That's music, what it does, right? And let's say that artist Rhye did help you through that hard time, and then for some reason you did find out that he was a bad person, but then you decided to continue listening.
Okay.
I would be like, oh, why are you listening to him? He's a bad person. And then you would say, well, hey, look, his music did help me through some hard shit, and I think it will continue to do that.
Okay, so so I understand. So the artist cannot be separated from the art, as in what they produce does have some things from them, but we can still enjoy the art
Yeah, you still can, I think.
without
Necessarily reflecting back, right? It depends the impact the music had on you or the art had on you in the first place.
In the first place, so okay.
Because I think your first impression does matter, right?
Yeah, well, but Rhye had,
Exactly, it
was pretty
did.
big, yeah.
But like, let's say you would have gone in the other direction, said, "Oh, I'm still listening to his music." To be honest, I thought you were going to say that.
Oh, you thought?
I did.
Oh. But that's why
It's reasonable.
It was
though.
hard.
It's still reasonable in both situations. It is reasonable because, like you said, it did have a really big impact on you when you listened. So it did, bring out some good in your life to listen to the music. But then, so if you would have gone down that direction, I would have said, okay, fine. You made a good decision because it did have an impact on you. But now you chose the path where I don't want to listen. And that's also okay because, yeah, you found out that, you know, this person, I don't want to support him. So I guess all that to say, like, it doesn't really matter which direction you take as long as it's justifiable, right? That's my opinion.
Justifiable, okay.
Like if to you, yeah. No one should judge you because you listen to something.
Okay.
So like you're not listening to Hitler's music or something, you know what I mean? Like
what if he did have
that I'd probably not listen to, but
interesting. Okay. Yeah, so it's still very much gray and like
it is a gray.
There's no
there's no right answer. Like
so I guess even if an artist has objectively done something bad that most everyone can agree, like we have videotape of someone murdering someone, it's still up to you to decide to listen to the music or not.
It still is. Yeah. It still is up to you.
Okay, so because you think the art that person put out is, you know, it's sort of in its universe and it's hanging there. And whatever they do, they kill themselves, they kill someone else, it's bad and they should be punished for it, but their art would still carry the same meaning.
Well, there's a meaning. The meanings of art is subjective anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would still carry the meaning to you, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. What the artist is trying to portray, maybe not the same image or information I'm receiving from that, right? It's all subjective to the listener or the viewer or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends when you first heard the music, when you first discovered the art, if it made an impact like to you before all the bad stuff happened, then maybe it's understandable why you want to continue listening, right?
Okay.
Well, let's say you listen to like I don't know, a band your whole life.
Yeah.
70 years or 60 years you've been listening to this band, and then after 60 years, oh, you know, this guy did something stupid. You're gonna be like, oh, you know, I regret listening to this guy for 60 years of my life. You know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I would regret, because how can I, you know? It just it didn't happen before. It just happened now. Like, I wasn't aware of it before.
That's what I mean. So if you weren't aware of it before, would you stop after 60 years? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it's people, you know, the cancel culture would be like, yeah, but now you're aware. Now you have to make that right decision if you still continue or not.
I don't know, man. I don't fall into that trap.
Yeah, so you don't agree.
Yeah.
So you don't think it signals your values in which direction you go to continue to listen versus to not? Does that speak of your own values?
Well, yeah. Really? I mean, you could still decide for yourself. I mean,
so maybe someone who still continues to listen to the music of an artist that did something bad is because they value the...
Depends what you value.
Yeah, I guess so. So it does signal your values. Like, I value the art and what it did to me.
Exactly.
Whereas somebody else says, no, I value more the impact of that person
on society
or whatever. Yeah. So I guess, it comes down to your values.
It depends who you are, and it depends what you value. That's all it is.
Yeah. So
either way, you're not the one that committed those crimes. I think, you know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of, you know, that story. I don't know why I'm going back to the Nazis right now, but you know that story of like the train, the guy that was driving the train.
Yeah.
Was he as guilty as the perpetrator himself? It kind of reminds me of that. Like, oh, you're listening to this guy's music, you're just as guilty as him. You're supporting him, you know? Kind of reminds me of something like that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you're right. And maybe me too. Like, sometimes I feel that way, you know. I think cancel culture is very much in that same mindset where because you still, you know, listen to the music, or you are doing what they did, or you're as bad.
You are them, you know, like, you're not. Like, let's be honest. Like, you're not.
Okay. So someone could still continue, like, to go to the concerts and stuff?
Well, see, that's the thing. I said that earlier. Maybe not go to the concerts because, like, then, I don't know, you see them in person and shit, you know, like, I don't know. That's literally supporting them, in my opinion.
Okay. So you draw the line in like
That's what I'd probably draw the
monetarily
line.
supporting.
Yeah.
Okay. But would you still judge someone that, again, past that point, they still continue just as they did
Probably
in the
not.
past?
I'd be like, that was
That's
your
your
choice.
decision.
Yeah, that's your decision.
Okay, so I guess it comes down, to your values.
Personal decision on if you want to support that person or not. And
Like, you're not a bad person for supporting it.
exactly. It's not like, a direct freaking, link there, like you're not like a supporter, you're not like following a religion or something like
You're not supporting a Nazi.
Yeah. No, like, or a cult. You're not in a cult of
Trying to think of it this way. Because someone might say, let's say, someone has been, how could I say, yeah. Like Rhye, okay, he's been accused of like sexual assault, and the ex-wife did say that he did do some of these things with other women, that he traveled to different countries and did this to some women, even did this to like in Japan to Japanese women who didn't even speak the language, and he would like record and do like these weird shit. So people would say, well, yeah, but you listening to the music, going to the concerts, and just doing as you did as usual, you're like enabling this person to probably continue doing the bad things. Like, let's say if the person is not in prison, right? They're still free, and in the past they've done, questionable things. Are you like supporting them? Or again, is that your decision? You're like, well, whatever, I pay the concert.
But how are you enabling them though? You're enabling them in what sense? And monetarily, or like, are you enabling them like you're giving them validation?
I guess, yeah. I get, yeah. You're not directly like enabling the abuse, but yeah, it just falls down to the support umbrella. You're just
okay.
Like,
let's say there's a fine line there, I guess.
Let's say like you have a murderer who's an artist, and you're like, I'm gonna give him a burger. I'm gonna give him some food,
Okay.
And people will be like, no, I don't want to give him anything,
Why? Because you giving him the burger is gonna make him live longer, and then I don't like. What,
like, you just do not want to support this person for what they've did, even with food or anything.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say, huh?
It's up to the person to decide.
I guess it's still up to the person. But you know what? Even murderers, they get fed. Society still feeds and...
Yeah, you could always, drag this like, but he's in prison, but we're still feeding him, therefore validating
we're guilty.
His...
Exactly.
Like, you're going to say the prison guards are guilty as well, like, the judge is guilty too. He spoke to him in person, and like,
this person must be executed on the spot.
Like, yeah, there's a fine line, but yeah,
it's pretty gray still.
Yeah, and I get the whole premise of the podcast. Like, it's a really good question to ask, and it's a hard question to answer.
It's very hard to contend with, and that's why we're still kind of going in circles here.
Yeah, all right. So these are our closing thoughts, but we kind of ended up
This was like a whole section, of itself. Anyways, to wrap it up for real, is that at the end of the day, it's very gray, and it just falls down to the person themselves, what they believe, what they value, and if they continue to support the artist or not support them, but still consume the art. And we're not bad people, we can still...
It's like you're supporting the art, not supporting the act that they committed. That's kind of how I'm seeing the difference.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're not saying, I support this guy sexually abusing a woman or killing someone. You're saying, I like the art, and I wish people would do this.
And I wish you would continue making your art. And I wish he would
continue without having doing that shit.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
good.
Yeah. That's how we should close it.
Okay. I support the art, not the crap you do on the side.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
But anyways, okay, well, that was a pretty interesting...
It was a good topic,
episode. Sure. So thank you guys for listening, watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, Don't forget to leave a comment, like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more of our videos. We release an episode, try to, every week or so. You can watch us on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher.
BitChute.
Bitch. No, not a bitch. F that shit. And we will catch you guys next time.
Yep.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Play us out.
All right.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.